Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Linda Salvin. You're watching Visit Your Tomorrow, and I am broadcasting from Cleveland, Ohio, where it's freezing compared to 90 degrees in Los Angeles. So I'd like to introduce you to a guest of mine that's going to be talking about a very interesting situation that happened in their company. And it's frightening, actually, because it's going to make you question what this was really all about and how this person got away with what happened in this neighborhood here in Cleveland, Ohio, Cleveland Heights, actually. I will also take your chats if you want to ask questions psychically, or if you would like to input your ideas and questions to my guest, whose name is Leslie Lester, and ask her about her experience with what has happened here. I am going to bring her on right now. And this is Leslie. I'd like you to meet Leslie. Hi, Leslie. How are you? Oh, she's muted. Hold on. That's my fault. There's no volume. Jonathan.
Can you hear me?
There you are. Now
Okay.
we got
Hello,
you.
hello.
Hi. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this show. As I said, down the road, we're going to be adding this to a podcast, and then we're going to add it to the YouTube, and people will start to watch it. Now, you came to me as a client, like most people do. I'd like you to tell your story as to your reason for contacting me because of the orbs and some of the strange energy in your house. And then we got to chit chat, and I helped you with some candles, but you tell the story, and then we're going to get into the meat of things.
Okay. Well, hello, everybody. I am Leslie Lester. I am third generation owner of Ray's Sausage Company here in Cleveland, Ohio. I first got started, knowing about Linda years ago. I just never knew how to get in touch with her. So when I seen Storm and Rose show is when I said, okay, 1-2 times, that means it's time for me to talk to her, only because I didn't feel right in my house. And I knew something was wrong. So I sent Linda some pictures and showed her everything that was going on, in the pictures. And then we did the candles and they worked.
Well, before we go on to the candles, what was in the picture was your dining room, the
Yes.
house you inherited from your aunt, who's now deceased.
Yes.
The picture had your dog, your dining room. It had some weird scratches in the walls, which is often from a ghost. It had orbs. It had lots of little lights. And it had some smoky areas at the ceiling. Plus, you were burning a few too many candles.
Too many candles.
You had your own inferno going. So then what happened? You did the candles, and what happened to the house? It settled down, cleared up.
It settled down. It felt like calm. Like it wasn't so stressed and so tight. Like I felt like something was wrong. But then after it was like peace and calm and tranquil. I feel good now.
Well, that's where Wicks of Wisdom work like a prescription for your soul. I think you burned the good luck power to remove blocks, obstacles, negativity, curses, and bad luck, if I remember.
Yes.
Right? Then you did the money and success, yes. I believe. And through the time of cleansing the house, which I saw the other day. Now, this is a really interesting.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. This is interesting, folks. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, because my mother, who would have been 92 years old this December, we're now October, she grew up in Cleveland. She was born in Detroit. They moved, I think, to Cleveland when she was less than a year old, over to a street called Hampshire. And I Googled and contacted archives and old data about who owned homes in the past. And I found the house. I found the duplex where 3 people live now. And I took a picture of the house. I talked to one of the residents there, but I was able to go to where my mother lived at the age of 9 when my grandparents were both 33. So we're going back over 90 years to this neighborhood. Not too far away my great grandfather, who was a famous rabbi back in the 30s and 20s, lived on a street called East 144th. So I drove around Cleveland, Cleveland Heights. I went through University Heights. I went through neighborhoods, which is what Coventry and where Little Italy is. I got here and I just started exploring. So then I thought I better call Leslie back. And because she said, let me know when you get in. And we hadn't talked in a few hours, but I was supposed to have been to the hotel a little sooner than when I got. And I said, I am done with what I have to do. And I'm at 144th. She said, what? I said, yeah, 144th. And what's the other street? Superior or something, whatever. What street is that?
Kinsman.
Kinsman. Okay. And she goes, what? Do you know where you are? I said, yeah. And she goes, well, see that store over there? And anyway, long story short, the universe put us together. She was a whole 2 blocks away. Here I am. I'm visiting a city I've never been to before. I'd been here 5 hours driving around looking for properties that I had researched on my family from the 30s. And Leslie said, turn left, go 2 blocks, turn right, see the plants, see this, see that. Next thing I know, I'm in her driveway. She comes downstairs, and here's this girl I've talked to on the phone. I've been helping. And what's the probability of me just saying, oh, I better call her? And I'm like 2 minutes away. Right. That's how this connection has worked with this girl. When you're spiritually connected to somebody or something, nothing's going to pull it apart, no matter what goes on in between. Yep. The synchronicity is blessed. The synchronicity happens. So what is it, odd or is it God? So the two of us were talk. I went into the duplex. I went into her home. And everything that had been a different color in the photo she sent me months ago has been painted white. It's clear, it's beautiful, it's fresh, and all the negativity is gone because it's been cleansed. And she's getting ready to maybe list it on the market, release it, and go on to something bigger and better, which she has definitely earned. Now, part of what Leslie is about, not only is she spiritual, positive, beautiful, funny, intelligent. You're getting a little embarrassed. You are. She's a cool person to hang out with. She took me to lunch after I met her mother at the company that her grandfather started 70 years ago.
Yes.
Called Ray's Sausage. And we're going to show a little clip in just a moment, Jonathan. We're going to show the clip. But I want to hear from Leslie the history of Ray's Sausage, starting with your grandpa and your aunt, and how long you've been working there. And your mom's almost 81 or 81 years old now, and she's still working.
Yep.
But something weird happened in that neighborhood, and that's what you're going to talk about. So why don't you take over?
Okay. My grandfather, Raymond Curtis Cash Sr., he started the business October 13th, 1952, on 123rd. in Cleveland, Ohio. And he started off making sausage, beef and pork sausage, country style. And then he met a guy in the army who was his best friend. He was German. He taught him how to make a product called souse meat. My grandfather ended up perfecting it. And now
what is souse meat?
Ray's souse meat. Yes. And
how do you make it? What are some of the ingredients from the pig?
Oh, we use the snoot, the tongue, and the ear, and then our secret spices that I make myself. And everybody loves it. Everybody loves it. It comes in mild, hot, and extra hot. And then we also make a beef souse meat for people who can't have pork. And then we are in our 3rd generation. My mom is 2nd generation, and she's still there working. She's 80. She'll be 81 in December.
Yep.
And she's not going anywhere.
No.
And I'm 3rd generation. Say like 10, 11 years ago, it was a serial killer by the name of Anthony Sowell, who was right next door to our building. I mean, arm's length away that he stuck his hand out the window. We could shake hands. That's how close the house was to our building. And all of a sudden, the neighborhood used to be a lot of people walking up and down the street and everything. And All of a sudden, people just started disappearing. You didn't see nobody, neighborhoods started calming down and everything. So the question was asked to him, what did he do? He said he was cleaning up the neighborhood of all the people who are on drugs and alcohol. Come to find out, this man murdered 11 plus women right next door to our building.
And people in the neighborhood thought it was the sausages smelling, right?
Right. The smell was so horrific that sometimes we couldn't even come in to go to work. We had, at that time, a state inspector every day, all day. They were trying to figure out the smell. We keep a clean building, a clean facility.
It's phenomenal. I was there.
And we go around inside and outside, couldn't find the smell. We had somebody called the
health department.
The health department. They came out several times, I think like 2 times. And the last time they came out, they said, "Oh, it's a dead dog. That's what the smell is." They wrote up a piece of paper, everything, and they gave us a copy. We had a pink paper, and which was a receipt from them. Come to find out, after all of this, go up to now. Somebody called me and they said, "Leslie, check your video because somebody jumped out of Anthony Sowell's house." So I got to work the next day, checked the security footage, and it showed a naked woman jumping out of the second floor window. All of this is in color and audio. She jumped out the second floor window. She had to hurt herself, but she took off running. Anthony Sowell, you seen him coming out the front of his house, and he was half dressed. He tried to catch her because he was going to try to kill her. And so she went to the police, 4th District Police here in Cleveland, and she told them what happened. They really did not believe her. So they went to the house to investigate, knocked on the door. He came to the door, act like nothing was going on.
Of course.
And so I just happened to tell them, because I'm a good citizen. We do things for the neighborhood. We hire people in the neighborhood. We've never had any bad publicity, any bad marks, anything. We're even good with the Better Business Bureau. So he killed those women and buried them in his backyard. He had bodies. He had a body in the bed with the head cut off, and the head was in a bucket next to the bed.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. He had.
Did you see that?
Well, that's what they were telling us when they were bringing it out. They were just, yeah. Because, see, we were right next door, so we could see inside when the police were coming to go through the house and get the bodies out. Bodies, body parts buried outside in the backyard.
Listen, I don't know. I mean, when you first told me this on the phone, I was like, what? This is like a year and a half ago. I was stunned. I was stunned. And
every
you've lived this.
Every year, the smell got stronger and stronger. And I told my mother, I said, something happened next door. Something is going on. It's not us. People blaming us for the smell. It's not us. So speed up. Come to find out, he chopped up these women, buried the body parts in the backyard, some in his house. Who knows where else he threw the body parts away at, in other places. He stole the copper off of our building for our freezers and our cooler. Stole the copper from our gutter and our downspout. That was all copper. He stole that. He had 7 garbage bags full of copper that came from our building. So they knew that he stole the copper from our building because we made police reports about somebody stealing, coming on our building, taking our stuff. Now, speed up, he goes to jail. They would not let us come into the courtroom.
Why?
to even testify. If it wasn't for me handing over the video
They
footage,
wouldn't have caught him.
they would not have put him in jail and he would be out right now. Do you know the city of Cleveland did not allow me to come in the courtroom? They did not give a retraction in the newspaper or the news to say, sorry, it wasn't Ray's sausage. It was Anthony Sowell, him killing these 11 plus women and burying them in his backyard and in his house, in the basement, on every floor. And at the time, the mayor was Frank Jackson. He came to our building the day that they pulled all the bodies out. And they asked for, you know, like our receipts and everything, because every year for 7 years, we had to pay $60,000 to $70,000 to get the sewage fixed from our basement to the middle of the street of 100.
Wait, hold on a second. You're telling me that for 7 years, Ray's Sausage and your family and the other employees, you were going through this for 7 years with him murdering women
and the
burying
smell
them?
was so potent. It was coming through our building. And I told my mom, I said, it was their souls seeping through the brick talking about, hey, we're over here, release us or something. But now, after they tore the house down and everything before the memorial, it was lilies popped up everywhere in his backyard where there was a body part.
Oh my God. And the lilies represent
He never planted flowers, didn't have a garden. So
no,
beautiful.
that's the flower of death. And
Mhm.
that just shows the light of the angels that were there. I'm going to stop you right there because I'd like Jonathan to play the little tape or little montage we put together from the photos I took of you and your mom the other day,
Okay.
which shows your building, some of the press of your grandpa and Ray's through the years. And it'll speak for itself as we run this for a few seconds. So just hold on.
Okay.
Now go ahead and run it, Jonathan. Wait till people see this. There's the sausage factory. This is Ray's in Cleveland. Go on. This is the bulletin board of her grandfather and all the press and the awards and a lot of pictures of even when Leslie was little and just, it's a happy family. You can see your mom is next with you and your mom after you read all the press. There's Leslie and her mom, Renee. Now stop right there because I have a sister named Leslie and I had an aunt named Renee. Here I am 2 blocks away from Leslie in the middle of nowhere where I've never been before. This whole thing in Yiddish, they would say Bashir. Spiritually, it's just all meant to be. There's such a connection. I feel so honored and blessed and connected to you like I've known you forever, even though it's a year and a half. And the story, it just keeps compelling in my brain. And like, you know, the Jeffrey Dahmers and all the people out there, you lived right next door. Right now, we'll go to we walked next door.
House of Horrors.
I'm sorry?
It was, we stayed next door to, worked next door to the House of Horrors.
The House of Horrors, it is. So we walked out of the sausage factory. We went over to where the house was, the property next door, and they've erected a beautiful memorial in honor of at least the 11 women. Let's go to that one, Jonathan. There's the memorial on the property where this Anthony Sowell lived and murdered all these women, where the one woman jumped out of a window. Leslie captured it on her video, took it to the cops. This man was busted. He ended up dying in jail later. And then there's this beautiful picture of an angel. And there are the fallen angels in honor of the beautiful women that this monster murdered. Next door, in walking distance. I mean, I walked out of one door, walked around the building, and we were on this property. I'm taking pictures. This is 2 days ago, folks. I just got to Cleveland. I am broadcasting from Cleveland tonight, not Los Angeles. I needed to meet Leslie. I called her and said, you want to do my show? You want to have lunch? I've been planning this for a few weeks. She goes, okay. So here in honor of these women, and there's the lilies. I mean, the whole thing, I don't know how you live with it. I know they made a movie on Oxygen. I think there was some press a week or 2 ago on cleveland19.com or whatever it is for your local TV. You were interviewed and your mother was interviewed, right?
Yes, because we turned 70 years old. Ray's Sausage turned 70 years old, and we were just happy to be in our third generation, because how many companies in Cleveland, Ohio are in their third generation?
They're not. You're brilliant. You're gifted and you're blessed. And that's the beauty of it.
And then, can I say one more thing?
You can say whatever you want.
So bad is that I did not get no type of an apology or anything from
the dog agrees. The dog is agreeing with you.
No apology, no thank you for turning over the video.
No, the city never acknowledged you at all.
And the city never said anything either. Getting back to mayor, the ex-mayor, he's not the mayor anymore, but his name was Frank Jackson. They took all of our receipts and paperwork from every year that we paid. Sometimes it was, one year was 60, one was 65, but we have receipts for every year that we had to tear from our basement to the middle of the street, because the city was saying, oh, it's coming from Ray's Sausage. It's the smell. It's the sewer. It's the sewer.
You were blamed.
That's like $450,000 of old money. This was my grandfather's money. This is money that could have taken care of, I don't have kids, but like my sister's kids and so on. But you know, you don't do that to women. They have no respect for women here in Cleveland that I can see, because you still haven't said sorry. And that's all I didn't sue. I could have sued you. I have a letter from CNN. They were going to pay me way, so much money. But no, I said, I'm going to do the good thing. You know, I'm a God's child, and I'm going to do the right thing and just hand it over, because they're going to do something for us. And he said, oh, we'll take care of you. We'll take care of you. They didn't do anything. He said at that time, the mayor, oh, Ray's Sausage knows what they have to do. Well, what do we have to do?
You already did everything. You busted the serial killer that the city knew.
They wouldn't even give us victims of crime. At least we could have got victims of crime. We can't even get that. Why? I turned over the video. They took my whole motherboard, the whole everything, whole kit and caboodle.
You have a copy?
To spend and buy another security system, surveillance cameras and everything, put them up. So they took everything. They took our cameras. They took everything. Took our receipts.
Sorry that happened.
I'm
going to see what I have an idea, which I'm not going to tell you about right now, but it hurts me when I hear things like this, when it's unjustified. It's just not justifiable. It's not. It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong.
Totally wrong.
And for whatever reason, I was drawn here to research my history and now learning your history.
Yeah.
Because your company, Ray, your grandpa started 2 years before I was born. Okay. So I'm 68, almost 69, and the company's been around maybe 14 months longer than me. And so I understand the longevity, and it's real hard to succeed. Thank God you guys are successful. You need a new building. You need to expand. You got more business than you can create sausage.
And we're USDA federal.
It's beautiful. I was inside and it smells very clean. You would never know it's a sausage factory. And then I went to the spice room and it was, I could sit there all day. It smelled delightful. I don't know. There must be 20 different spices in there, but it smelled great. I want to buy a jar of spice alone. But anyway, before we close, because I know you've got to get some rest before you got to go back to work, but I want to thank you for sharing this story. It's potent.
Anytime.
You know, it's affected your life. You spent almost a decade battling it. Now you're still battling it on the other side, waiting for justice. Okay. Somehow, with all the protection I've seen spiritually with your aunt, the orbs, your dog, your mom, your grandfather, the house, now that I can feel it physically when I make the personal appearance as opposed to just doing the psychic work on the phone, I think you see my energy. You see how I work and what I pick up. Yes. You want to talk about that? Or, I mean, you can, I mean, it's just, I think we proved it. I think we proved it. I know. It's
every time I say something about the bark. I want some candles.
The dog agrees. The dog is spiritually confirming. That's all we need. It's just another confirmation. Just like when I saw the banana leaves, just like when I said what street I'm on, just like I said, here I am, here we are, here we go, and thank you. So we got everything technically correct. What?
It was so good to see you.
Well, you too, and we'll see each other again, or at least FaceTime or talk, and I'll be in touch when I get back to Los Angeles. And then this will air later. And as I said, as we get the content of several shows together and then get the graphics and the proper edits, we will eventually be able to present the podcast in the format that we're going
for. To come back, I can come back.
I'll come back. You know.
No, I said me, if you want me to come back and speak.
Oh, yeah, anytime. But I don't want you super tired. You betcha I want you to come back. We'll do it again. And yes. I'll get you those other candles. And Michelle from New York or New Jersey just said animals know, which is why your dog is barking as we're talking, because spiritually the dog is going, yep, you're right. That's exactly what happened. Yep. So I want to let you go because I know how tired you are and how hard you work.
Yes.
And I want to thank you for everything in these last few days during my visit.
It was job well done because my house is at peace.
It wasn't at peace. But see, let's go back to the Wicks of Wisdom and get off the gruesome part for a moment. Okay. The Wicks of Wisdom, for those that are listening and those that will be listening in the future, is my candle magic line, which I created in 1999 to help people make money, find their love life, remove blocks, obstacles, negativity, curses, bad luck. There's a set called Harmony Power. There is the Harmony Power brings some peace, balance, unconditional love in dysfunctional situations. But when Leslie first came to me, I said, oh my God. And she sent me the pictures, which I asked for, and I saw all this negative junk. It was spiritually infected, for lack of a better term. And I knew right away what to do to clean that house, which was inherited, but not. And even at lunch the other day, and I completely forgot. I said, it feels like somebody died in the house. She goes, yeah, my aunt died. Why don't you tell people how your aunt was found?
At her kitchen table, like this, legs crossed with her high heels on, fully dressed, happy, like she was going somewhere. When they came in, they thought she had just fell asleep with her hand like this.
She went out the way she wanted to, but the beauty is she left you the home. There was a lot of negativity, not just from her, but prior residents and possibly even burial ground long ago from maybe the 20s or 30s or 10s, whenever. Yeah, other people. That's all of the stuff we cleansed with one set of candles that gave you the peace of mind. Yes. And you're not burning, 20 candles at a time anymore. Everything's white and pristine and beautiful. I walked in, it felt amazing. It's real clear. It's real safe. It's real protected.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you again. And yes, I'll bring you back. And my friend Carolyn, who's known me for well over 48 years, I guess, said, I pray that justice will be done for you and your family and the company. So you got some
much.
You got some cheerleaders here. Let me see what I can do.
That's more than what the city said. So thank you, and I appreciate you.
You get some rest. I appreciate you. Thank you for everything. Say hello to your mom.
I sure will.
And we'll talk soon.
Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care. So that was Leslie Lester. Leslie just told the story about how she inherited the company with her mother from her grandfather, who started making sausage after he was trained in Germany and opened up his own company rather than working for others when he was in the Army. And this company is now 70 years old here in Cleveland, Ohio. And for 7 years or more, they were battling a horrible odor, and the city and the neighbors and everybody kept complaining and blaming the sausage company. And it wasn't. There was a serial killer by the name of Anthony Sowell. You can Google him. And you will see this man murdered at least 11 women. We already ran the little video. You might want to run it again, Jonathan, because there's new viewers. Why don't we run that little piece? That's the memorial of the angels that have fallen. There we go. There's the company in this it used to be an apartment many, many years ago. And when they moved in, and they've got all the rooms and 3 levels, and I saw the where they make the sausage. I saw the carcasses. I understood the parts of the pig that they use to make this house meat. And then I saw where they cook. I saw where they have the spices. I saw the business offices. I saw the freezer where everything's packed, ready to go. And then we walked next door. Oh, there's the bulletin board of her family and her grandfather, and big pictures from a lot of the press over the years. That's in her mom's office. Leslie's office is to one side, and her mom sits at the other side. Let's go on and show Leslie with her mom, Renee. There's Leslie with her mom, Renee. Renee is the daughter of Ray Cash and Renee Cash. And then we go next door where there had been a house. There is now a memorial with the 11 names of at least the 11 women that this man had murdered as a serial killer. And they called it the 11 Angels. And then this right over in the corner is it blown up with the image of the woman with blood, but also with the lilies. Because if you missed the part earlier, Leslie was saying where there had been no flowers ever on this property where this house was, a lily popped up out of the blue at the site where each of 11 bodies had been buried. Now, if that's not God, and that's not spirit, and that's not soul work, I don't know what is. So as a spiritualist, I'm a psychic healer and a medium, and I get into some bizarre stories, which is why I want to do more than just psychic readings all the time, because people know I've got that gift going. But I want to start sharing other people's experiences as to what they go through in life, because we all have something to share. And then you tie it in spiritually, which is why I'm saying visit your tomorrow, because we're here now. But with the hint of what's going on, I can help clear up, like I did with Leslie not being comfortable in that home she inherited for so many years. Now she's at peace in the home front. So that's what we've been doing. Oh, that's what I've been doing with Leslie for the last year and a half, and I'm grateful to have met her and share some time with her here. I know there's a few of you in the audience on chat. If you have a question or you have a comment, feel free to chat. Otherwise, I may cut this short because it is kind of a deep, heavy context to talk about a serial killer. I am appalled that the city did nothing to acknowledge this family. And it's sad, but that's how politics run, as we know. We are in an election year, and we don't always get our way, but it's us who are the citizens of each community worldwide that do the groundwork, and the people at the top don't always see what's really happening or acknowledge it. Spiritually, it's wrong. Spiritually, it can be corrected, and spiritually, in our hearts, we really know what's going on. To find that 7+ years went by and nobody could determine where that stench was coming from. Leslie also shared with me, which we didn't have time, but I'll paraphrase. She did say one of the neighbors had been in the service, and somebody had said, that's not meat, that's human. Somebody even said that was a human smell. And nobody believed this neighbor. Leslie told me that he had been in the service and he had experienced it. And somehow it all came full circle once Leslie saw the woman jumping out of the window and caught it on the videotape. So that's pretty gruesome. And I don't want to have everybody go to sleep today or tonight thinking about a serial killer, but this was a client of mine's real experience that I just had to bring on the air and talk about. So on a higher note, I've had a great time in Cleveland. I've gone to Cleveland Heights and Shaker Heights and University Heights, and I went to Solon, where I found the gravesite of my great-grandfather, which was a famous rabbi here in Cleveland in the 30s, and I found his wife, Fanny, and the daughter, Sarah. Now, I did not know that I had a great-aunt named Sarah. I only knew about the 3 brothers, one of which was my grandfather, and then his brother, Monty, or Morris, rather, and then they had another brother, Jack. And yesterday, I found out there was a Sarah. So I'm going to go home and look at the other records to see about this other person and tie all that together. Since we're on the topic of death, I have my grandfather and his brother, Morris, both committed suicide. So I wanted to go talk to David as to what happened to my family. There was so much negativity and gruesomeness in our own little pocket when half on my grandmother's side were killed in the camps, and then my grandfather's side, everybody dies. So it's been a little weird. It's kind of morbid, obviously, this week. Michelle saying, thank you for sharing this. We'll keep her and family in our thoughts for continued peace. Thanks, Michelle. And I'll be talking to you probably a week after you get back from your trip. And then, I've just been on this little journey. I did go out to the flats, Carolyn. I did look around here in Detroit. I was up in Detroit over the weekend, and today I was all over Cleveland, and I was down in Kent. I was in Akron. I've been doing a whole runaround, and then today I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and then I went to the flats, as Carolyn, my friend, suggested. So I got a good view of what's going on here. If nobody has any real questions spiritually or psychically for tonight, I'm going to wrap it up because it's heavy. It's a heavy show. But I'm grateful to have met Leslie Lester. Yeah, if you go to Ray's Sausage, you can Google them. You can order from them. Problem is, I even asked to have some shipped to LA. They can't get dry ice right now. There are so many companies hurt from COVID. My own company, we can't get glass, or actually the people I buy candles from can't get glass to put the wax in. So we can't buy extra candles because of the limitations. A lot of the chains are broken all over the world as a result of what's been going on since COVID. So now the sausage factory can't ship because they can't get dry ice. Everybody's hurt. Everybody's hurt with the economy. Everybody's hurt with the broken chains. How this is going to change, I don't know. I've been told we're going to go through it until 2025. It's going to get worse before it gets better. I don't know what the answer is. I know psychically what's going to happen, but I am told psychically not to discuss it, and I can't put it out on this particular show without getting censored. So I want to keep my boundaries cool for the people that are watching, because I have been cut off other shows if I open my mouth with the wrong topic, because Big Brother's watching and I want to keep it cool. But if you want to talk to me off the air, you can always Google me or go to Dr. Linda at lindasalvin.com. That's DRLINDA at lindasalvin.com, or just go to my website, lindasalvin.com, pay for a reading, order some candles like Leslie had done. We'll clear up the negativity, blocks, and obstacles, or you can do soulmate power to bring in new love and passion, or you can do harmony power. If you got a lawsuit, you do good luck and sweetening judgment. I got candles for everything. Health and wellness are very popular. Everything's going to be on sale when I get back in Los Angeles for 1 week. So between the last week of October through the first week of November, there's a 10% discount. If you hear this show, just message me or mention you heard it about the sausage factory and the discount. I'd like everybody to have a good night. I thank you for joining in and participating. Tell your friends about the channel. Please subscribe. Eventually we'll get up to the thousands. It's a whole new ball game being on the digital market as opposed to being on regular broadcast radio, which is AM and FM bands. This is a whole different experience for me. And I'm used to having people calling in so I can talk and share as opposed to trying to watch and read and communicate and just free flow my thoughts. It's a very different it's a different experience. I met somebody on the plane who's in the entertainment industry flying out here, and he does stunts. I'm going to have him on the show because a good friend of mine's also a stunt woman, and the two of them knew each other. So I was texting each other on the plane with him. And when I said I'm having a hard time doing digital, it's like he had worked with Rodney Dangerfield, who was a very famous comedian. And when they did a movie, he said nobody laughed. And they had to explain the laughter comes later. But an artist is a comedian's used to the audience to bounce off of. When I did music or comedy, I needed the audience reaction. Just like on the radio, I needed the caller interaction. This is very different. I just see names. I just see chat. And I just keep talking and take a long, deep breath. But if you're just joining the show, which you are, I want to reiterate what we did tonight. There was a client of mine whose family is in their 70th year, 3 generations of a sausage factory. And next door for over 7 years, there was a serial killer taking women from the neighborhood, slaughtering them. And somehow spiritually, Thank you, Jonathan. Spiritually, it's like the universe just took care of everything. Once they tore down the house, all right, we'll go see the bulletin board of all the press and the grandfather. That's Ray, her grandfather, in the large picture and all the press that they've received over the years. And then there's Leslie, my client, and her mother, Renee. And then we walked outside, went around the corner, and a beautiful memorial had been erected for the 11 women who had been slaughtered and murdered and dismembered, and God knows what happened due to this horrible, sick man named Anthony Sowell, who murdered all these women. And there's the fallen angel, and representing the gift and honor of these poor people who lost their lives, plus the families, plus the friends, plus the horror that the neighborhood went through, and especially the attacks that the caches have gone through. So again, I'm going to thank you. We're going to sign off. Everybody have a good night. Keep in touch with me, and we'll talk soon. Let's do